This is Michael Zupan from BiteSizeImpressions.com with another edition of the Greatness Delayed podcast. We've got a hitch right off of the doing, buddy. So he's usually kind of running himself right.
Emailing him at like 3 a.m. our time, sending him shit. So I know he gets it in the morning.
But you know, Gus, if you didn't wait until the last minute to rush,
true. That's very true.
Have to send him shit.
But I got it.
Like the last minute with your stuff that's due, but like you crank it out like a mofo.
That's how I've been my whole life, man.
It was just funny though, because we had a conference call not too long ago. You're like, I really shouldn't do that. I got to think about all the work the graphics people have to do, and then it's like,
oh my god,
which I love, by the way. I love Life is Strange.
Detroit Saturday.
We'll talk about that too, because I want to get into there. For anybody who's unaware, yeah, it's made by the same studio who did Life is Strange, which I enjoyed immensely, except for the 5th chapter.
They also made Remember Me, if I'm not wrong.
I don't think I played Remember Me.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But Vampire was supposed to be basically their first foray into moving strictly away from the story stuff into an action RPG sort of game with the narrative dialogue stuff worked into it.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you. I mean, I kind of do because you and I talk privately. But for me, the game has a really great core conceptual thing going for it. For anybody who's unaware of what Vampire is, and I'm calling it Vampire. I think the devs call it Vampire, but Vampyr is fucking Vampire. It's an actual foreign word. One of my favorite Criterion Disc Blu-ray films is an old black and white silent movie called Vampire, and it's spelled the same fucking way. Yeah. So don't care what the developers have to say on that one. I'll defy them on this until the very end. I don't care if they made it.
So just different accent, but same pronunciation.
Yeah. So you're basically a doctor in like 1913, 1916, somewhere around there in London. At the beginning of the game, you wake up among a pile of dead bodies, and the only thing that you really can sense around you is, hey, there's some blood over there. There's a meat bag over there. There's blood. I'm thirsty. I'm hungry. I got to go get it. Wake up because you were fighting in the war. You're in the mass grave, as Gabe said, and you bite into the first thing that you see, and
spoiler alert.
Yeah, well, it's higher stuff on the evening duties at the hospital to kind of run things.
It's already teamed up apparently with another one of your kind.
Yeah.
A woman. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And from there, of talking with people, you start off in this hospital, and you want to basically the way the gameplay works is that you have a choice. You can kind of go through the game as a pacifist. And just earn your experience points by doing missions and side quests and stuff like that. But in order to find out what those quests are, you have to talk to everyone, and they will give you stuff to do. Now, you also have the
pacifist
because instead of doing the slow grind for experience, you can get a whole bunch at once by killing someone.
Yeah.
But there's consequences to that in the game. The consequences is that other people are going to react differently. The health of the district that you're in goes down. And once the health of your district goes down to a certain level,
because wait, you didn't explain that there's an actual being a doctor mechanic.
Yeah, that's when it's good. Their blood is worth the most experience points. And the more that you learn about these people, and you learn the most by not just talking to them, but the other people that they know in the game, then their blood is worth more experience points if you decide to drain them. So if you're going to do it, ideally you want to wait until you know someone the best before you drain them. But I don't know, like I did that whole opening area of the game. I went into the new district, and I'm like, great, here's a whole new set of people that I have to spend forever talking with. Every time you go to a new person, it's at least a 5-minute conversation, and you're asking them the same stuff. Oh, what do you think about the war? Hey, what about this part of town? Hey, here's some personal questions about you. And then you go and you talk to the other person, and then they reveal something about the person you were just talking to a minute ago, and you're like, oh shit, I got to go back and talk to them again. I'm at the point of the game where I kind of want to stop talking to people and actually do some stuff. But when you go to do some stuff, the combat's not great in this game. It's really not. It's very poorly done. It kind of wants to be Bloodborne-esque, but like it's...
Oh, whoa. No.
I said for how far your enemies can reach you. Like you could kind of do a back step like twice in a row, and like they'll still lunge at you and still be able to grab you. And every time you do a single back step, it sucks a lot of your stamina away. So it's kind of bullshit. And I can't tell you how many times that the enemies, because I think they. What's your opinion on it?
A bag of good. I don't know.
That describes it perfectly. That's a scumbag. I'm gonna kill that dude. Like, you know, everybody you kind of don't want to bump off.
Yeah.
You know, like the game really.
Yeah, they're not well done as
they're not. You reach dead ends a lot in that game without even trying.
It's that you could skip the dialogues. So I turned on subtitles. So I was like, so I read faster than they talk.
Yeah.
But there's a catch to that. Like,
like Empire, whatever.
So, like, you ever play like a game that's like a 6 out of 10? It's not great, but like you kind of in the mood for that kind of like mediocre game.
Like, Vampire's perfect for you then.
Not that like sometimes it's like you play all the polished like AAA stuff, and then it's like this is kind of a budget looking game, but I'm gonna push through this.
Oh, dude, two of my favorite guilty pleasures of 2 generations ago were the Blood Rain games.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean those were 6.5 games, but I love them.
They're still fun.
Yeah,
you know, where Vampire entertaining, but like Vampire, again, as you said, it's a completely mixed bag and not in a great way. So obviously, I know a game that all 3 of us have been playing since Gabe, you just mentioned you've been playing is God of War.
Yeah,
we talked about God of War on this short. I'll begin.
He wants me to care about this kid that I don't give up.
But you are Kratos. You are embodying Kratos because he doesn't really.
And they show it when he like shoots the deer. You can see the hand of Kratos that is about to go like point where I stop hearing. Hey, look here. Hey, let's go here. No, hey,
and he starts to compliment him a bit more as he progresses. You know, like shit like that. So, he may become less annoying for you.
And it's the usual shit way of making a game harder, which is damage sponges and big damage on their part. And I'm like, plus, you know,
pacing where a lot of the game is really quiet and it's you like moving from point A to point B on the map. And then when you get in, for me, and when you get into like a big battle, it's exhausting. Like when you go through this battle stuff, and then by the time you're done, like by the time I'm done with the battle, after like walking for like an hour or whatever, I'm like done. It's just like I'm done with this game for now. And like it's weird because I am liking it, but I also know where Gabe's coming from with his boredom at the same time. Where just like
question. Since this game basically had 10s across the board, is it a
yeah, because it's like I don't dislike the game, but like I'm just kind of going through it like I'm going through a book, where everyone else is like everyone else on social media and all that was just so blown away by everything going through this game and what the team did, like production value wise and all that. And it's a fucking gorgeous game.
Yeah,
it's okay, by the way. But like like as I go through it, it's just like I'm sort of invested and I'm sort of not. Like it's a good game.
I feel like it's the spectacle is more than.
I mean, I do hope to get back to it eventually, but like right now, like I've been bouncing back and forth between like right now, I don't even know what the hell I want to play. Like I started playing A Hat in Time because I wanted to play an actually like decent N64 era collectathon sort of game. And for me, design wise, it's definitely better than the sake of being and just some in the world. It's basically, as I said a long time ago on the show, an N64 game through and through, faults and all. Like if you, it's a Banjo-Kazooie game, but Banjo-Kazooie's way better. You know? I mean, I don't know. Like I'm single, especially since we're working so much.
part about that game is that all the videos that are out there for that game, like people talking about the game and whatnot, are all videos that are based on pre-big patch. Like 2 weeks before the official release, when the game was in early access, they just unleashed this huge patch that basically changed the game and made it so fucking awesome.
You're on PC, right?
Yeah, I'm on PC. Like you see like by European I mean the whole shebang of
that too.
I did play the first one a lot.
And I don't know, like it's really fun for a while, but I discovered that it's really good playing with friends, but playing it solo, like the game seemingly gives you way too much to handle on your own. It seems like you have people coming at you all the time, and like there's no possible way you can handle all the side quests that the game is giving you. Things become much more manageable when you have somebody to help you out, and then you move along from thing to thing. Ran out of steam on that game too. Gus,
So, like,
I quit on that game so fast. Like
State of Decay 2.
Yeah, like I don't know why. Like I feel that's me not giving it a fair shake, but I feel like you would have covered way more on it just now than like I would have.
Yeah, I mean that's how I feel about it, you know, and like that's like how I feel about video games are way different than all the other entities out there that are reviewing games that like State of Decay 2, hey, it's got some wonkiness, but it's really, really fun. And yeah, but like I kind of regret the purchase. Vampire, it's like, oh my God, this game's awesome. Yeah, the combat's not great, but it's really good. And I'm kind of like, well, you know.
Yeah, Vampire had huge scores. And I'm like, oh no.
The game on the Switch a while back, and that wasn't very good either. And I normally really enjoy the Kirby games. I just think that having 4 characters on screen that are, you know, protagonists throughout the entirety of the game is a misstep, because they get lost in the action of the bad guys and you don't even know where the hell you are half the time, and that's kind of clunky. So I don't know, what have you been playing, Gus?
I have like a long list, but it's all in bits, so it's not like I'm going to take up that much time. But the biggest game I'm playing right now, actually no, I'll start with a game I finished. Oxenfree. Which was on. It's like on every fucking platform. I think like your toaster probably has it too. Like, I played it on Nintendo Switch. And I remember the last time we did a show, I think Mike, you had recommended it to me.
Yep.
So I played it and I really liked it. I actually pushed through that game too. Speaking of like not pushing through other stuff.
Yeah, it's only like 3 hours.
Yeah, it was about 3-4 hours or whatever. But like, you know, it's. For those just who don't know, even though I'm a little late to the party, it's basically like a supernatural young adult novel of a game. Like, but I think the core mechanic, I guess, of it is that the conversations of the game are like very dynamic, and they're well written as to like how like young adults and teens like talk, and they talk over one another.
And really well acted too.
And it's really well acted, and you pick like your dialogue choices, but I like that you pick your dialogue choices sort of in a way that it's not like in BioWare titles where like you say the wrong thing and like you're fucking evil for the rest of your life. And no, it's just like this one piece of the direction the conversation can go. And then there's like the whole radio gimmick thing, which I thought was cool. And it's an interesting story just in how they like relate it to World War II, and it's like there's some history to the island or whatever that they're at, and depending on how you play it too, like I ended up getting all like the collectibles in that game, and depending on how you play it in the end, like the story goes an interesting place by the end, and like I thought I had gotten a happy ending, and it turns out it might not have been that way. But it's really good. I think anyone who likes that sort of stuff should totally play it. What else? The biggest game I've been playing though, Yakuza 6.
Oh yeah.
I picked up that. Have you been playing that?
Yeah. No, not yet, but I have it.
I'm on the 4th chapter. So far, it's like current gen Yakuza. You know, it's like
there's a lot of improvements.
It's a lot of good improvements.
Yeah,
especially like the menus and stuff. My God, the inventory system finally
and saving everywhere.
Save anywhere. Kiryu has a smartphone. Finally, no more payphone because. Well, for people who don't know, Yakuza...
It's PS1 era save system.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, even Yakuza Kiwami that came out last year, like, was using that, like, let's, you know, like, hold on, like, let's save, hold on, let's make sure you're in the file.
Yakuza Kiwami was a remake of the old
one. The first game, yeah.
But Yakuza 0 had the same shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a fresh game.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No loading times when you go into buildings.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh yeah, you can go into buildings in real time, and it's just like none of the crap going on. A lot of quality of life improvements. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, that's another thing about Vampire that sucked is that every time you die or something, the load time sucks.
Yeah.
True. That's the worst in current gen games. Like when you die and the loading screen is forever. That's the punishment. So
yeah,
Vampire's got that. Load time. But yeah, so like Yakuza games, they tend to be set in the year that like they came out. So Yakuza 1, like for example, came out in 2005, so that's when the game takes place. But because of the localization stuff, Yakuza 6 came out in 2016 in Japan, so it's set in 2016. So like, yes, Kiryu finally has a goddamn smartphone. No payphones in Japan. Like it took them all down finally. I forgot the first town that you're in because most of the series took place in Kamurocho, which is like a video game version of Kabukicho in
yes.
I forgot the district in I think Tokyo. But recently, like the chapter I was in, you're in like some little like rinky-dink town in Hiroshima. It's kind of funny watching like as an American, just from a cultural perspective, how like all the people in Hiroshima are kind of like these like they're like the equivalent of Hicks, I guess, or just these like kind of small town folk, like simple folk and all that stuff. And that's kind of what.
Are you vaping?
I thought you were talking to me for a second. I'm like, wait, what? No.
What flavor do you have, sir?
I think it's a little bit of mint, and that's it.
Anyway, carry on, Gus.
Anyway, like the story's kind of interesting in that it seems to carry immediately from Yakuza 5. I don't want to like spoil Yakuza 5 for anybody who hasn't played it. But it seems like the girl that's been a mainstay in this series, Haruka, she had a kid, she had a baby.
Yep.
And then she gets hit by a car and she's like in a coma. And Kiryu, you spend like some of this game like with this baby as Kiryu, like carrying this baby around. And there's one part of the game, I kid you not, like it's at night and you're like finding a place to stay in this Hiroshima town, and you have to find milk for the baby. And then as you're walking, oh Lord, like it goes into this mini game where you have to calm the baby down, and it goes into like first person. I'm sure maybe Mike can relate since he had a kid recently. Yeah. And then like you're like kind of like swing, like you have to do things like you have to swing the controller around to kind of like sway this kid to calm down. And it's so weird. And
Geez, just what I want to do when I go to play a video game to try and escape my kids is go take care of a fucking another
kid.
I love my children, by the way. But damn, come on.
So, but when you don't have the kid, it's Yakuza, people still, like Kiryu in the game's universe is actually famous. He is no longer just like a random Yakuza. People know who he is. But it's still hilarious to like, because you need combat in that game, so it's still funny to see like random thugs like try to like mess with him, and he's like this dude who has beaten up like 50 people at once, and that's the kind of stuff I love about Yakuza, and I can't wait to keep going with that. Speaking of Sega, I bought that Sega Genesis collection. The whole like menu thing is kind of cool. I think it's from the PC version or whatever. I don't have a lot to say about it. I only played Shadow Dancer, The Secret of Shinobi, which is one of my favorite
Yeah. I heard that the performance of that collection is actually not great on a couple or few of those games.
I can imagine, and
which is insane because it's basically just emulation.
Of
Sega Genesis games.
On top, I noticed that Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles did not make the cut, and I think it's because of the whole music license thing with Michael Jackson.
Wow, that's insane. I'm so glad it's actually sitting the double cartridge in my Genesis over there right now.
I have Sonic and Knuckles on Xbox One, so I'm fine, and Sonic 3. So I should be good with that.
My double cartridge is in my Genesis, which is still plugged in.
Yeah, mine's plugged in, ready to go. I've got them all right here now. They're just I could play it right now if I wanted to.
Shit gets hard, my God, man. Like, good Lord. And then like the Octo stages in that expansion, like it's hard to. They're like like when you play a Mario game and instead of like the main stages, you find those secret rooms. And that's where the real platforming, like hell, begins.
Yeah.
That's what the Octoling expansion is, man. It's some Dark Souls shit.
Which is like weird for me because like while I'm like, oh yay, Splatoon 2 is getting some really major support after launch in the form of like beefy DLC. The single player means nothing to me in Splatoon. It's all about the multiplayer in that game.
So
it doesn't do anything for me.
Like challenge stages where they're just tougher, and in fact, you can, in typical Nintendo fashion, like if you suck enough, like it'll be like, "Hey, we noticed that you suck at this. Want to buy your way to victory?" Like, and you use your like in-game coins or whatever, and then you just pass the stage automatically.
Talking about sucking, E3 happened last week, by the way, guys.
We'll get to that in a bit.
Well, let's get to it now, unless you've got other games you want to talk about. I was trying to make a transition, goddamn you.
One more. Well, I'm still going through my games, man.
Go for it.
The last one is a game I really like, Yoku's Island Express.
I've heard about it.
Which is,
I didn't.
It's like a Metroidvania style pinball game, right?
It is. Yes, it is a Metroidvania platform.
Right?
Yeah, rare charm, like rare aesthetic, like charm and like pinball, where you play as like a little dung beetle.
But doesn't it get frustrating because you can't always make the ball go exactly where you want it to in
What's
pinball?
The name?
That doesn't get frustrating in the game.
I'm not that far in the game, but not like it's kind of like you like pinball. Like if you want to send the little beetle you play as Yoku in that through like the right slot to keep going, like you have to like time him onto like the little flapper thing. I didn't find it. It's like you're gonna have a lot of trial and error shit going on in that game, but I hadn't been in a spot where I'm like no, like this is frustrating or I'm not having fun. Like so far it's a really fun game. I think it's a cool concept too because I love pinball.
It sounds like an idea that wouldn't work, but at the same time, because of that and because it's been getting good reception from people who've actually played it, and I'm not talking just reviewers, but just in general from people who've tried it online, like I'm kind of curious about it now.
I'm gonna like $20 get it for my lady. She likes pinball.
Is that happened with
no, she actually
definitely have to tell us about that.
I have not played this game. No, thank you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What you want me to tell you about this game?
I've seen enough of it where I'm like, I will pay $20 for this. That like by November.
Okay, I can see that.
I'm kind of willing to spend like 40 for it once it gets down to that.
Here's the thing: if you accept that it's a David Cage game, it's probably the only one worth full price. But you have to keep in mind it's a fucking David Cage game, and you have to sort of at least like a little bit David Cage game. But this one branches, as in, like for example, in Heavy Rain, the story doesn't change. 6.5 because the story I feel is good. It's been trying to do for years and can't fucking figure out, which is make controls that make sense in his games. Like there are scenes like
autopilot.
Can we just fucking not like waste our time with fucking EA?
All I'm gonna say is, yeah, it had Battlefield, which looks fine. I'm gonna enjoy Battlefield.
A Star Wars game out of their ass. They didn't even have a logo for it.
Yeah, they basically showed up with like, "Hey, we're working on this. It'll be out someday." You know,
by Respawn, the Titanfall people. Which
yeah,
I look forward to that, but like, you just seriously announced a fucking Star Wars game, like the way you order a fucking sandwich. Like at Subway, man. Like, what are you gonna have? A Star Wars game. All right, what do you want on it? Like,
would you like a side of Madden with that? And they talked about Anthem, of course.
I apologize for just like hitting the ground running with this, but like,
no, that's fine. I really EA.
Let's not be surprised that EA's conference for like the third year in a row was awful.
You know, and they showed, hey, there's going to be more content coming to Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Did you know they're making another FIFA?
Oh wow, really? That was unexpected.
And dude, the investors are pumped up. Like their stocks were yoo-hoo after this.
Woo-hoo! EA's looking good.
And then EA be happy. And then EA to respond is we're like, we hear you guys, like loot box, what the fuck, microtransactions and stuff. We're working towards not having that stuff anymore. And I'm just like, great, cool.
I'm gonna go feed the cat for a second. I'll be right back.
But never finished it, basically. I'm sure Unravel 2 like is cool. Will be cool. I'm not saying like EA doesn't have stuff that like they might be like. I'm probably gonna play that Battlefield game this year, especially over the next Call of Duty, for example.
Yeah, I have no interest in whatever the fuck Call of Duty thinks it's gonna do this year.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, I don't know if this was on the agenda. There is a story I heard about Call of Duty that I showed you yesterday, where they had announced that what the hell was it that like. If you pre-ordered Call of Duty 4 digital, you get a free multiplayer map for Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and there are no players.
And it's Sony exclusive, right?
It is a Sony exclusive.
Yeah, like, are they even hearing people when they get fucking outraged by all this shit? Like, people have never been happy with...
We'll talk about Sony and outrage in a bit.
Sure we will. Absolutely. But yeah, Battlefield 5 is the only game that I think I'm really going to enjoy playing. Anthem, for me, I think from what we've seen, the gameplay
like on Anthem, like I really want that game to be cool.
I do too.
But like every time I hear impressions of it, it's just like the flying's really cool, the shooting's really cool. I just don't. And I apologize to the fans out there. I don't want it to be another Destiny, man. Like I played Destiny 2, and I fucking quit on that shit like in less than a month.
I played the first Destiny, and I was smart enough not to get Destiny 2. And yeah, there is potential that this game is going to be basically flying around and shooting at things and watching numbers fly up in the air whenever you hit something, and then watching your own personal numbers go up as a result of everything that you kill, and just having it be an endless sort of a, chase the end of the rainbow sort of a game, just like Destiny. And if that's what it's going to be, I don't have a lot of interest in it. But the one thing that Destiny also did not deliver, that really soured me on the experience as a whole as well, is that it did not have a very good single player campaign. It didn't have a story. It didn't have characterization. It just had missions that were just like any of the other missions that you played. And once it was done, you didn't know anything more about that world than you knew from when you started the whole goddamn thing. So if Anthem has a story, if it actually has a campaign, then fine. Give me a nice like 8-hour campaign that's actually worth playing, and then I could justify a purchase on that alone. But yeah, it seems like the multiplayer is the focus, and I don't know.
I wanted to use this as an example, even though it didn't do well financially, was Titanfall 2, where one of the biggest complaints about that first game was like, oh, there's no real single player content going on. And, along the side when we were still like yelling about Xbox exclusives and stuff, when Xbox was still like in a really bad place, or I guess not a great reputation at that point. But Titanfall 2 came out. They did a whole single player. People loved it with good reason. You know, I don't know why nobody's learned from that yet. Like, you know, if you're doing that, and it's not that like I demand like a single player campaign from Anthem, but like, you know, I think you always gotta check your bases, I guess, even if you're trying to do games as a service stuff now. Maybe I need to do more digging into like what is the hook of Anthem, other than like, hey, I'm playing with friends. I think that's yet to be revealed,
though. Like, they have to show us more.
That's true too.
You know, they showed us some gameplay loop of like these you know, Iron Man-ish kind of suits that are a little bit bulkier, like jetpacking around and shooting things, and it looks cool. But like outside of that, we don't really know anything.
I mean,
why are these things flying around so slow?
Yeah.
I feel like if you have mech suits with freaking jets coming out of them, I feel like they might be able to zip around a bit better. I don't know about this slow flying thing. So we'll see. So let's see. That was Saturday, and I think the next conference was probably Microsoft's on Sunday, right?
They were on
Sunday.
They were Sunday. Okay.
Yeah. I just don't know if like Ubisoft was before them, or it doesn't really matter, I guess, right?
What did they miss?
We just finished from had the strongest showing, and every single year I don't expect to say that, to think that, because usually Sony gets up on stage on Monday night and they're just like, we got a whole lot of fucking games. How you like us now? Huh? We're just going to show you games and we're going to sit down and shut up and we're going to knock your socks off. And that's what they do pretty much every year. And this time, Microsoft very confidently got up on stage. It was just like, hey guys, here's some video games. And they showed a video game and then another.
The fucking perfect format.
Right. Like, has been shown on a Microsoft stage because it's the first time that a Kingdom Hearts game is going to be on an Xbox console. Stuff like that. It's like, oh, okay, they're going to work with them now, and they're actually going to show up.
Unfortunately, the trailer was shit. Like, it was awful. The Kingdom Hearts trailer was.
The next Halo game is a lot better, but it was just a teaser. There's nothing to get excited about, but still, showing it was a positive.
Question: was Halo 5?
We talked about that some years back. Gotta reset my camera.
There's like so many other ideas or like IPs out there that you could devote resources to, man. And like, you're like pandering to this one specific like corner of the internet who still cares about Battletoads.
It's weird because it's a meme more than it's a real.
I can't stand that. Like, I don't, and I sound really bitter about it. I'm not. I don't care. Make your Battletoads game, but like, I just like don't cave into fucking memes, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's like when Sony did when Sony took Joel from The Last of Us and did that fucking Antonio Banderas Jeff from NeoGAF. I'm like, I'm done.
So the other one was From Software showing up on Microsoft stage too, which was
Sekiro.
another. Yeah, Sekiro's Shadows Die.
Many people thought it was going to be Kuon, like a reboot or a sequel or a remake.
And of course, some people speculated it was going to be Bloodborne 2 because there was blood in the trailer.
Yeah, enjoyed. It was called Blood Will Tell. Very briefly, the premise is you're
and it'll be interesting. You know, also having let's see, what else did they have out here?
They had Crackdown, which I have no fucking idea why they keeps pumping money into that.
Yeah, that thing.
I hate saying this, but yeah, when they showed like the latest footage, I'm like, this still looks like an Xbox One launch game.
When the original Crackdown game came out, it already felt like a dated game, and like the formula hasn't changed much.
But there was a space for it when the original and the second one came out. This one, it's like everything I see, I already saw in Saints Row 4. Like,
there's so many games that have like done the Crackdown thing already. I could just fire a prototype.
Yeah,
exactly.
It looks like, I don't know, man. I don't know why they're
like, I don't understand why. like I understand like why they would. Why are they just? Why are they all in on fucking Crackdown? Like, why is that the one?
The only reason I can think of, because I related to how I know Sony works internally, is that, but they're also probably researching and developing shit tied to the game that
they've been talking about forever. There was going to be all this destruction in the game, and it was going to be going to have the nail hit right on the head on that.
It's the only reason I can think of.
We also got The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which is sort of like a spin-off Life is Strange-y sort of game, which
that's going to be free.
Yeah, it's going to be free too. So like I'm totally going to play it, and it's probably going to be a little enjoyable slice of narrative gaming.
It's probably even tied to Life is Strange too. It might be.
It might be. You never know. It could be, you know. There's going to be some pretty nice Cuphead DLC that's coming out. They premiered Devil May Cry 5. The Division.
They had a very strong showing like the C3.
Well,
or at the very least, like,
I don't know if I said that to Mike or was in some other chat, but Resident Evil 2, seeing it for me was what made okay for me to stay up late and watch E3.
Yeah, that looks really impressive. But that was a Sony thing.
We'll get into that.
But yeah, the Division 2 for me, actually, like I actually like the Division, like the first, like 25 hours that I played it, and I really enjoyed the setting. I really enjoyed the gameplay. It was just the later grind, but like 25 hours, I definitely got my money's worth, and I'm actually starting to replay it again now that they've made so many changes to the game long after the fact. And this new one, I'd have to assume that they've probably learned some things from all the feedback and how people were kind of like disengaging with the game after not too long of a time. The setting looks fantastic. I think this is probably going to be a really strong game. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I can see myself diving into it.
Yeah, Dying Light 2, I'm down for that. I mean, they came out with Dying Light and they supported the hell out of that game and then some.
I almost bought that first Dying Light game because it was on sale. And I know it's going to be a different thing than what Dying Light 2 is. Man, but Dying Light 2 looks super ambitious as hell.
You should try Dying Light. It's like I don't like first-person games usually. I really enjoyed my time with that game.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, if it's on the cheap again,
and by the way, the controls, like they made the parkour, and it shits all over that shitty game that is. What is the name with the girl?
Mirror's Edge?
Yeah. Like, they just showed how much of a fucking... This is another example of catering to a vocal minority on the web, by the way.
Yep. Metro Exodus, I mean, that's a pretty... I didn't give a shit about Just Cause 4, though. I don't know.
Like, I really liked Just Cause 2, like, back in the day, like, on PC and all that. I didn't play Just Cause 3 because I heard it was just so badly like optimized, and especially on PS4. I think it was free on PS4.
I actually played it on PS4, and I have to say I didn't have a bad time in terms of optimization or glitches and shit like that. So
it definitely looks like with this new trailer that they took the ridiculousness of the shit you can do to like new levels though. So like it has that going for it, but I definitely want to hear about like the technical wonkiness after it comes out, because that was kind of laughable at the time of launch.
I feel like it's a wait 6 months game.
Yeah.
That's like the
dream of fighting games that are coming out. I mean, they showed Naruto, Dragon Ball, One Piece, and Death Note crossing over in this fighting game, which seems like might be really cool. There was a game, it's not on this list for some reason that I'm looking at, but there was, Gabe, you probably remember the name of it. It was that game with the fox that was very Legend of Zelda-esque.
Tunic?
Yes, that game I'm super excited
I saw a video of that like on Steam like a super long time ago. I thought it like came out already.
No, apparently not, but I'm hoping it comes out this year.
It looks really good though, yeah.
It does. It looks like Legend of Zelda, man, like classic Legend of Zelda, and I'm so with like updated like battle mechanics that a lot of people are
Yeah, I don't understand like they announced Fallout 76, and then they're and then Jason Schreier from Kotaku like apparently got the scoop that this was like going to be an online game, right? And then they show the fucking trailer. I think 2 trailers, like one was a teaser and one was like an actual full trailer, and it looks like a fucking Fallout game. I mean, and what I mean by that is like it just looks like you just announced the next Fallout, but like you're not. You're like making
they totally played that card.
Community.
Oh yeah.
By the way they described it, what I told Mike was that to me it sounds like they took a lot of shit, like they stole a lot of shit from stuff and made a game.
That wasn't that game, but
yeah.
I have no.
And I even gave that game a second chance, like last year, and it still wasn't great.
Like I have Fallout New Vegas on Xbox One. I'm just gonna play that. I think I'm good.
Let's see. There's gonna be. They showed off the new Ori game again, which Ori's cool, so I'm down with that.
Yeah.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds are actually fighting back with content, it seems, against all the other clones out there, and also like Call of Duty and Battlefield. And suing Epic has not worked out for studios well in the past, so we'll see how that turns out. The last studio to have done it, based on what I read online, and I shared this with down basically because they couldn't financially.
Yeah, have fun.
Because Epic basically Engine 4, like, hey, we could use screenshots of your game in our advertising if we want to, even. So, they could if PUBG is not. We'll see how that shakes out. I think Fortnite probably is going to be standing pretty proud and tall after all is said and done. So they came out and they showed a new Gears of War, which I'm excited for because I expected Gears of War 4 or Gears of War 5 they were showing off, but War Judgment was fun. It's just kind of like been there, done that. But Gears of War 4 was really actually solid and probably one of the best times I've had on my Xbox One so far.
That Gears trailer,
and it seems like the story is heading in an interesting direction too. So I'm really excited to see what they've got up their sleeves with that.
Yeah.
But what was this? Well, we don't know yet, but they teased like this PopCap Gears thing. Like, what the hell is that all about?
There's like 3. So it's like 3 games from the Gears like brand, right? So it's Gears 5. What is it, like a Funko Pop like strategy game or something like that?
Is that what it is? Is it no? The strategy game is actually
there's a legit
kind of like
strategy game. There's like an actual
and that's what it's sort of similar to like what's that franchise called? Halo Wars, I think.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what's that other strategy game? Shit, I don't remember it. Oh, it's SOCOM? No, not SOCOM. You know what I'm talking about? XCOM. That's what I'm talking about.
Wait. Halo Wars and XCOM, like they don't.
Okay.
The next Lego for Microsoft, if anything.
Could be. I don't know if I'm excited for that. I'll have to see. It sounds like, again, one of those ideas that are so like weird that it's not going to work, but it just actually may be fun. So we'll see. Yeah. Also, from their first party titles, Forza Horizon 4, not a surprise, but like it seems like they're really cranking on this game to make it different than the other games. Like they're going to have full blown weather season changes throughout this game. We're talking fall, we're talking winter, sort of race against the AI vehicles that sort of emulate the way that your friends play, and you see their names over the vehicles. They were called Drivatars. So even though you couldn't play with them directly unless you specifically went into a multiplayer mode, you could still sort of race against them in a way in races. Forza Horizon 4 is actually going to allow drivers to be in the same world together driving around, which is it sounds.
I heard I hope I'm not making this up. I heard that there is some sort of like crazy taxi thing going on for Forza Horizon 4.
That was going to be like one of like the mission type things that you can do, like crazy taxi kind of shit.
I'm fucking sold.
Hey, like they didn't have to do this stuff to make it enticing, but like they're delivering, man.
Head-on collisions.
Devil May Cry 5 I mentioned earlier. I mean, a lot of people are excited about that.
People are getting Nier Automata finally.
Yep, that too, and it's going to have 4K with HDR. I don't even know if the PS4 has that on the Pro. I don't know.
I don't know. I played it.
I should. Yeah, I don't know because I don't have it installed anymore.
There was a Sea of Thieves update thing that they talked about. Who cares? I mean,
you played that though, right?
I did, and I dropped that game like a hot potato after like maybe about 15 hours of gameplay. It's just there's just nothing there. Like the new content, all they showed was a CG trailer. But like if these new lands are going to be anywhere near as cool as what they showed in the trailer for it, then it looks like it'd be really cool. But it's not enough for me to come back to the game. So, and they wrapped everything up by being the surprising company. I thought this would have been on Sony's side to be the ones to unveil Cyberpunk 2077.
It was a given.
I didn't realize that because over anyway. You okay, Mike? Are you just
see? Okay, I talked about, a while back about my bariatric surgery that I had.
Yeah.
The one thing is that I should be taking small sips from my drink, right? So I can swallow it and be done. But I still have this. Are you drinking? I trust CD Projekt Red.
That's basically.
I'm excited. It didn't excite me because it didn't show any gameplay.
I've noticed, and then I saw your usual like internet babies getting mad because apparently the game's in first person.
Oh well, Gabe is one of those internet babies.
I got mad. As I said before, I don't like first-person games.
Gabe knows I'm kidding, but I'm not saying he's an internet baby because he doesn't.
I am.
Person. It's the internet babies that like fucking harass devs and shit over it.
Oh yeah,
No.
Those dipshits.
No, here's what I said. Like, if we had good VR, as in good VR technology, I'd be all over first-person games. But like on a screen, first person doesn't give me like it's always. For me, it's always like looking through a window. Yes.
When you play, but you see your guy in the cutscenes or your character or whatever.
In my guy, like many people complain because they can see the look of their guy. I don't give a shit about that. I want to see what's on the sides of my guy. Like I want to see around my guy. I don't know.
Yeah, CD Projekt. I'm like, yo, well, you've got all these augmentations that you can do on your character. So like, let's see that shit. But they're like, we're telling a story that. Like everything is happening to the character, and especially because you have augmentation. I
can see that side because in the world of Cyberpunk, there's like eye augmentation. I can see that side because in the world of Cyberpunk, there's like eye augmentations, and so it's cooler.
Yeah. So for me, because I never played the old game, I'm sort of like, who cares as long as the game, I'm good.
I'm super what you mean? I have faith in CD Projekt.
Futuristic setting.
I mean, it still could be story wise. Like, I mean, a lot of Witcher 3 has like some fantastic storytelling in that game.
Yeah.
That's why it's like you said, I'm willing to give CD Projekt Red like the benefit of the doubt.
There were some rumors about that game, like earlier, like at the beginning of this year. They were like, "Oh, the game's probably going to be." So yeah, Microsoft, they had all these games, and they came out and they're like, "We got games, we got third-party games. We are working to drop the ball. We hear you. We know the platform." So we've acquired 5 to form the
buzz.
Not only the trailer, but Itsuno.
Yeah, that's what it was, right? That he came on stage or something, and
he said a real sequel to Devil May Cry.
Yeah. And then later on, Microsoft is like, "Hey, we bought Ninja Theory, by the way."
Yeah.
That was funny. That was funny.
I'm like, "Oh, that's good. That's
now, nice." As far as the studios that they acquired, I'm really excited about them acquiring Ninja Theory because after them doing Hellblade, like, okay, cool. But the other studio that they acquired is the ones that made State of Decay 2, which are allegedly probably making State of Decay 3. Not too excited about that. I know a lot of people are going to be, though. And also the studio, I believe, that made We Happy Few, and they're doing another We Happy Few sort of thing. It's like, don't really care about that property either.
Yeah.
I care about
Yeah, I mean, it's a great concept for a story. And the first time that I saw them tease the first We Happy Few game, I was like, ooh, I'm so interested in that. Actual launch of the game where I just eventually never cared. fine, by the way.
I didn't watch this conference trailer and the Elder Scrolls like Microsoft PowerPoint slide.
The only thing I could think of during this conference was that like Bethesda were really trying to like pad time, because I didn't feel like they actually had that much that was worth showing off personally. Like Rage 2 looks really, really fun. Okay.
I bought the first Rage on Xbox because it's backwards compatible.
Yeah, I picked it up at GameStop for $2.99.
I bought it like digitally for like $5 yesterday.
And it's 3 discs. I had no idea.
Holy shit, man!
Yeah. But this game looks fun, you know. But like they didn't have to like
look like something I would play. I would be into.
By the way, speaking of back compatibility, just a quick thing. I would buy an Xbox One 2 because it's the only
Tenchu-Z?
It's the only game in the series that I didn't play.
Oh my god, dude! It's funny because I didn't mention this during when we were talking about the From Software game, because that's what I thought it was. Like they were doing Tenchu again, and it's funny because From Software became like a name for the Dark Souls games and shit. But I played Tenchu-Z on Xbox 360. It is janky as hell, but it is once you max out your upgrades and stuff, it's so fun.
Have you played the old one?
If they fucking put Tenchu-Z backwards compatibility, I would buy it in a heartbeat. I would buy fucking 5 years of gold for the co-op again.
I would buy the Xbox One for that game. I'm not kidding you.
The backwards compatibility is great too. Like there's a lot of titles on there. Like the only disc-based game that I have for my 360 that's not yet supported, and it's probably because it's Konami, because fuck Konami, is Ninja Gaiden 2.
Oh. Wait.
Those games are all for my
Konami too.
Yeah.
I mean, they got Ninja Gaiden Black on there now from backwards compatibility for the original Xbox. So give us Ninja Gaiden 2 already. God damn it. So yeah, after Rage 2, they were like, oh hey, here's fucking Doom Eternal, which looks amazing. This is
a straight up sequel to Doom, right?
Yeah, and it's basically like Doom 2, like except again a retread, but like in a very
you have to like
or more.
Or more. And some of them are hovering over you, and then they're like desperately trying to get more ammo and health, like trying to do those death animations or whatever.
Yeah, Doom was amazing. It was a great game.
Yeah, it was a good
game. This is going to be fantastic. I'm all in on Doom Eternal. Instant day one buy for me. But then they showed like some Prey DLC. They showed some Wolfenstein. It's called Wolfenstein Youngblood, and it's set in the 80s. But is this like a DLC campaign? It's not a full-fledged Wolfenstein game, right? It
sounds like it. I think so. I don't think it's like the third game.
Then they showed off more Fallout 76 bullshit. Again, who cares?
And by the way, we're making Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, well, doesn't interest me very much because I don't really want to use my mobile device for that stuff. And then they announced what is going to be their next in-house big project game, which is Starfield.
Yeah.
And they announced this was going to be a next generation game. So we're looking probably at 2020 at the earliest for here, because that seems to be the timeline that reports have been stating for next gen, 2020. At least that's when Microsoft...
even for graphics cards.
Yeah. You know, so 2020. And that's when they came out and were like, hey, we're also making Elder Scrolls 6. Here's a trailer that's not going to show you anything because we haven't done fuck all with the game yet, but it's also going to come out after Starfield.
Still a better announcement than Star Wars.
Very true, but like,
than Star Wars.
Very true, very at Starfield. They're probably going to want to like push DLCs, like, oh, like we want to play this game now, and you should have been working on it all this time instead of making this other bullshit we didn't want to play. You know, like I've been wanting to see Elder Scrolls
play Skyrim like at this point.
Like I think like this.
It was 2011, yeah.
Yeah, it was 11/11/11. That's how I remember that. You know, yeah, but it shouldn't have been like this. It just shouldn't have been. So Bethesda, I felt. Oh, and there was like an Elder Scrolls like, you know, like mobile card game or something that they were showing off too, weren't they?
Isn't that Blades?
Is it a card game? I thought it was.
Make a card game, mobile card game.
Anyway, the next day there was Square Enix, which just basically did a fucking like YouTube playlist of trailers, and then it was over, right? And will connect to Life is Strange, the Ninja Turtles game that they made. They make really cool games. So
okay, here's some insider shit that I sort of heard. Hey, what I knew about this game is that basically Sony scooped them up, and it should have been an exclusive. Now, I don't know what the fuck happened because I saw the Steam symbol in the trailer. So I guess it's not exclusive anymore. I also knew that Kamiya was involved. And on Twitter, like a couple of days ago, he apparently said he's not involved. So at this point, I'm painting like I'm shooting a movie in my mind.
Actually, catch the trailer for The Quiet Man. Did you guys see that?
Say that again.
The Quiet Man.
That sounds familiar for some reason.
On Kotaku, their brief description was, it looks like a brawler, and the trailer says they'll be sharing more about it in August.
Oh, are we on Square Enix now?
Yeah.
Sorry. Wait, is The Quiet Man the fucking game that I swear to God,
you're the deaf protagonist?
Yeah, where I joked on Twitter before they even unveiled it. I'm like, let's go with a fucking sequel to The Bouncer, and this game looks so much like that shit. But yeah, you're the deaf dude. You beat people up, but like, I don't even know what the hell's going on with that game.
I don't know. We'll have to see more.
Square Enix is a blur in my head. It was just like,
and it's a blur that did not include any Final Fantasy stuff, by the way.
I'm you know what? I'm actually surprised at that because they're talking. We're gonna keep hearing about what an incomplete game Final Fantasy 15 is. And like every character in the fucking Sun is gonna get their own episode DLC like in the next 10 years. And I'm surprised we hadn't heard anything regarding that. I'm starting to believe that the Final Fantasy VII remake was like a fucking joke they had at a party they threw. Like they were all fucking drinking and just like, what if we told them that we were making that shit? I don't even know what else. Kingdom Hearts 3, right?
They seem to say now that Final Fantasy VII development's actually moving on a bit better than they anticipated. So
the funny thing is, a lot like Square Enix ate a lot of flack, I guess, because they didn't show anything like new. But like at the same time, they were the ones with the quickest pace. They were like, "Here's what we're doing. You already know, but here's like what we're doing." And Kingdom Hearts has a date finally.
Yeah, early 2019, like January, right?
Yeah.
I hope I still have that pre-order on.
I have that pre-order on Amazon where it's
$40.
Like $40, yeah.
I hope I still have mine. I might have gotten frustrated at one point thinking it was never going to come out and canceled it. I hope not. So yeah, I mean, it was pretty much Square Enix. Also on Monday was Ubisoft. Obviously, their big showing was Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is more of a Greek take on the franchise, but I guess it's going to have even more changes than even the last game had. It's going to have some RPG sort of elements.
Ubisoft is sneakily turning into the new BioWare with this Assassin's Creed.
I mean, this is good stuff though. Like, Gabe and I were joking in a conversation privately before, he was like, they took a year off from Assassin's Creed because like, we learned our lesson. We've been releasing these games every year and the quality has suffered. We're not going to do that anymore. And here we are a year after, Origins came out, another Assassin's Creed game is coming out. But, again, you have multiple teams working on each game. So if that one game needed a break for a year, let's just hope that the quality eventually doesn't suffer again. But,
you also have to it might not be a bad thing. I'm just
Gabe dropped off here. I'm going to send him another invite. So yeah, I mean, Assassin's Creed Odyssey looks really promising to me. I mean, the last game was fantastic. I mean, that year off, whatever they fucking did, it worked because we talked about this on the show before. I mean, it even gave me in the exploration of the world sort of like Witcher 3 vibes to a certain degree.
I still have not finished Origins game.
I haven't either, but
someone was like, I finished it. It only took me 130 hours. I'm like, what the hell?
There's a lot of content in that game. Some of it's grind, but what I played, I was not tired of doing any.
I don't mind. I don't in the game. I actually kind of enjoy when I fire that game up.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to Odyssey, and I especially love that it's going to be a Greek setting. Like, I really hope that we see some really fantastical shit and, maybe Colosseum kind of stuff. That's going to be awesome.
To be honest, I'd like a decent show, but like at the same time, I just kind of shrugged my shoulders. Like, yep, these are definitely games you are doing. Like it wasn't a terrible conference, but like, I think the only thing is that because, the whole Walmart Canada thing that happened that week before. So naturally, the only reason I was watching was I was just waiting to the end for that one more thing, expecting like the new Splinter Cell to be announced.
And it never happened.
It never happened. And I'm like, it's totally going to happen to Nintendo, right?
I'm sure the game's probably going to happen, but sometimes even definitely. Like days before conferences, studios look at stuff and they're like, we're just not ready to show it, and they'll cancel it, like not the game, but I mean the showing.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because they did show a brand new Trials game, which is like Trials Fusion was the first Trials game that I ever played, but I've played through that game numerous times ever since it came out. It is so challenging but so addicting and fun that, like, the fact that there's a new Trials game on the horizon now just has me so excited. I can't, like I said, Gabe and I said earlier, we started playing Trials Fusion.
I played I'm not as involved in the Trials franchise as like many people are. Like, I played that first one and I think Fusion, but like they're definitely like fun games for sure.
Oh yeah. We'll skip over some of the other stuff that was already covered in Microsoft's conference and everything, but then they showed another trailer for Beyond Good and Evil 2, which was just another CGI trailer. Like, they showed it last year, they showed it this year, and like it sounds like the game might not even be ready until like 2020 at this point. So it's sort of becoming one of those Crackdown 3 situations, I think. Like, you show it for like years before it actually comes out. Like, I think people are just going to sort of start losing interest, especially since there's been some controversy around this game based on Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Ubi stuff. Like, hey, if you have some art or songs or anything, but everybody's like, no, fuck you, it's spec work and that's bullshit. You should, like,
invest time and money to do complete. They have to give them complete work, and maybe your stuff gets selected. I don't know I haven't paid attention to what the whole like payment. Apparently, like there might be a payment thing. Oh, here's Gabe.
But that's not like, they're not saying, hey, go spend your time. Like, it could be something that you've already done and you just want to submit because, hey, I did this thing and I'm proud of it. You know what I mean? Like,
but people are also gonna like create new stuff too for,
Oh,
like,
you're talking about the Beyond Good and Evil thing?
Yeah. Yes. But I'm saying that like it just because that people, it's not just like some. I mean, yeah, maybe someone's gonna like pull old shit that they worked on and it's whatever. But like, there's definitely gonna be new people, like people creating newer shit, and it's gonna be complete work. They're gonna submit to Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and they maybe it appears in your game, maybe. And if not, like, you just
knowing that they're probably not gonna get selected to have their shit appear in the game. Like, they know that going in. Like, I know you have thoughts and opinions on this, and since you bounced out and joined us back, why don't you share your opinion on this whole controversy? Because I know you've been on Resetera setting the forum on fire with this one.
Oh, I just stated why I submitted some of them, and I just feel like there's plenty of contests, game-related contests around it. There's been for years. And this one is the only one that actually might give you something back. So
right, because before it's like, hey, if you win this contest, like, we'll put your image in the game, like you'll appear in the game. And these people didn't get paid for it. That was the reward.
Sorry. And it was to design weapons. And if you win, your weapon, it's in the game. And that was it. And I mean, I don't see a difference between that and this one. Like, I think the guys on Resetera like have a weird. Sometimes they fucking outrage for the sake of outraging, and I don't get it. I don't get it. Of your shit. The only rights they get is if it is for the work that they like. If you put together a project and they publish it, they get 50% of the income. But you still own the rights. So I don't know. I don't know what's the big deal about
the other part of the problem with the conversation that was happening on literally one and the same.
Because to him the forum is fun, it's not work, but it doesn't change the revenue. So if for some people fun is making music or making a drawing or whatever, like they are completely selective in what the fuck they want to be mad about.
Right. And that's when I start out there. Like, you know, I'm working for two acts involved in any of this contracts for any of this. Like even Gus, I'm sure, you know, like we'll pay you under the table.
Contest that they made for My Annabelle, which was a fucking horror movie. I think it's in your ballpark.
I think it's just called Annabelle.
Whatever. And they owned everything. You owned nothing. And in case of legal litigation, they would pay you the fee for the lawyer, but only up to and not more than $10. There's a whole lot of shit. So that's not what they want to do. It's not like outsourcing the game to players.
Yeah. Oh my God.
People in Resident Era.
Hey, fuck.
No, I mean, like if there were certain stipulations that say that let the artists retain their work or whatever the hell, then it's whatever. I just the way I had understood
there's
it.
Nothing about it that says like they're running your stuff. You know,
I'm not gonna lie. Like I didn't look like after that initial announcement and stuff. I saw it. I wasn't like outraged. It just the way they made it sound like it was like do this completed work for us, as I understood it at that time. And like maybe we'll select your shit. And just to me on that end, I thought it's like I'm not going to submit completed work on the idea of it, possibly making it to this game. And it's like whatever. But at the same time, like I didn't follow up on any of that, so it's not anything that was like any sweat off my back.
Right.
And at the same time,
I understand the concern of like, okay, this might be cool. I'm gonna sit here and like spend 5 hours working really hard on creating like like a picture or something that maybe they'll use on poster art in the game somewhere, or on a wall somewhere inside of a bar or something. Good old Ubisoft. I mean, that was pretty much their conference. There was some good stuff there.
Can I ask you one thing? Because I was
to Wii.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Well, you know what? It's interesting. If you go on Twitch,
everything makes
sense and stuff on YouTube, and like the dance routines, like they're not fun. Like they don't look fun. Like they don't look like actual dances like I would do at a club. They look like goofy wedding shit. Like that.
Wait, if you rolled up into a club tonight, do you know how to do like whatever the popular club dance scene is stuff today, Gus?
Why are you're like limiting it to what the kids are doing these days? No, you don't have to fucking know specific dances. Just know how to move with rhythm. Nobody's gonna give a shit. Everyone's gonna be too drunk anyway.
I think you need to turn the camera on and show us what you got.
Hey, Mike, I wouldn't challenge Gus. He's got that South American blood.
That's right.
So his zips are gonna be loose.
Thank you for applying that stereotype to me. I'll take it.
Dude, stereotypes must be embraced. I've always said that.
You want to talk about a show opener that's really gonna sell? Sony's The Last of Us Part 2.
Some films like
the
music for The Last of Us. Like I know that's why he was there.
Oh, he's extremely talented, but
he did that TV series, that cowboy one, Westwood, or what was it called? No,
Westworld.
No, Wood something.
Deadwood.
Which is one of
my favorite.
Than him.
What was really that was not good, but what was really part studio developer person was kind of like, that shit was fake, and Naughty Dog were just like, nope, we just refined and made shit better, motherfucker. And the dev had
why would you as a dev like put that shit
shade
on blast though?
Yeah, you just know that's just going to be bad, press for you.
Because you look like, it's one thing when some like dipshit on the internet does it, but when you're like a prominent person in the gaming industry, you look like a fucking asshole.
You should stick up for your own though. Like, I mean, you shouldn't go and throw shade. Why would
you fucking throw the most unnecessary shade at like one of the biggest studios?
I don't know.
But an almost even bigger story out of this is that there are apparently a lot of assholes out there, because there were a lot of people who had a fucking problem with Ellie.
That's exactly what I thought.
I think about the whole presentation though. We have this seemingly kind of this girl that she's obviously got the hots for, and they start dancing, and this conversation quickly takes a turn for like, oh really? Like, you don't think I'd be interested in you? Like,
why the fuck do people have opinions on Ellie at all? Like, these fucking creeps on the internet, man.
Right. And then they showed this really, like, this took place later kind of thing going on where like Ellie ass, and like, it was brilliant the way that they worked that thing in there together. It was very well done, and Naughty Dog have always been fantastic with storytelling. The one thing about Uncharted 4 that I can say is that the story is fantastic. The way that the characters interacted with each other, the way that they were all acted, everything in that respect was fantastic. Even the gameplay was good, except for the fact that I felt that they removed agency from the player a little too often. That was my issue with Uncharted 4. But the story, characters, fantastic. And we already know that the characters that they portray in the Last of Us world is amazing. I have high hopes for this game, even though they're not like QuickTime. They're somehow integrated into the combat itself now. Like,
you know what I want in games like The Last of Us, or like games of shooting in general? I miss when, and I understand in this generation it takes a lot of resources, I miss hit zones with like enemies. You know, like in GoldenEye, when you fucking shoot a dude in the knee and he's grabbing that shit, or like you shoot a dude in the balls and he's holding on to that shit for like 20 minutes before he finally dies. That's the shit I want in The Last of Us 2.
So keep an eye on Cyberpunk, because apparently there's a lot of hit zones and even limbs flying off and shit like that.
Yeah, that was another thing actually that I saw some people on Twitter, like, because like Twitter is a place for discourse. A lot of people seem like taken aback, I guess, by the gratuitous violence in that Last of Us trailer.
Oh God!
And it's like, I can understand one aspect of that, but at the same time, that's the first game has kind of established that's the world that.
Right, like the last game was violent and dark and serious as hell. Like, how is this any different?
And dude, I don't like the assumption by some people that because like I play that game, or because like I partake in that like virtual engagement of violence, that like every fucking thing I do in that game violent act is like out of glee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not the world that's trying to be built, man. Like, I don't fucking throw a party for every like arrow I put through someone's throat. I'm like, yeah, that's fucked up, man. Like, but I had to do it. It was him or me, you know.
Right. A lot of people seem to not grasp the fact that just because like I'm running over people in the street in Grand Theft Auto with a car doesn't mean that that's what I want to do in real life.
I'm not trying to like do that whole like it's like that kind of that world in The Last of Us where it's like, yeah, it's super fucked up. That's exactly the story they're trying to tell. Like, they're trying to make you kind of feel shitty about this. And then Saints Row, where there's like an entire mini game where you throw yourself in front of a fucking bus and try to collect money. You know what I mean?
The fraud insurance minigame. Yeah. But anyway, even if you were doing that shit for enjoyment and you were amused and threw a party every time you fucking slashed someone, in my book, it's fucking fine. I mean, it should touch the aiming down sights. Yeah. You know, all the games were from Days Gone. You know,
that's a hot take.
I like that.
You like Days Gone?
I'll be honest. Out of Ghost of Tsushima, that one.
Like, I'm probably more interested in Days Gone than Ghost of Tsushima.
I don't even know. And then the rest of it's like, oh my, it's like Sony, who's become the king of fucking sad dad video games, where like you're always like some fucking sad gruff dude like wandering around somewhere. But in this one, I think there are still zombies in it, but there are also like reject cast members from the fucking Walking Dead. I can't like. That game looks so generic as fuck when they first showed it last year, and then I saw that footage again. It looks generic again. I can't fucking... You're making The Last of Us 2, and then you decide we need more of that shit. Like, if The Last of Us 2... If two ladies kissing ain't your thing, here's Days Gone where you fix a fucking motorcycle. That's a man's game right there. Fucking believable.
That's the best take I've heard.
Jesus, I can't.
Oh my god!
The late to the party, late to party game because they started it when they saw right after they saw Sons of let's make them. Then
someone at Sony flipped from The Walking Dead to Sons of Anarchy.
No, here's what it is. Here's what it is. Last of Us 2 is the zombie game for dudes because it's got the lesbian kiss. Where Days Gone are for the females who prefer their Daryl Dixons in their zombie worlds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm
seconds. I was like, oh.
In between each and every fucking game, like they went to this booth outside, like it was fucking the Golden Globes or some shit. It's like, well, we're let's talk with these people about this game because we know you want to see us sitting at a table and talking about this for about 15 minutes before we show you another 18 coming along. Like, who gives a shit?
Quantum apparently.
Right, like Alan Wake is probably like up there as one of like probably my favorite game on the Xbox 360. Probably, Max Payne. I'm like, this game kind of looks like, hey, look, we fixed the problems with Quantum Break, and we've got this. Oh
God,
that's not happening this time around. At least I hope not.
Without the bullshit.
But yeah, there was the Resident Evil 2 remaster, which looks really good, like a proper, like not even a remaster. It looks like almost like pretty much a full-fledged remake.
No, it is. It absolutely. Yeah, it's all I want. Like Resident Evil 2 is my all-time favorite Resident Evil. So
that this game does not have fucking 1998 camera angles because I've actually seen complaints of that shit.
Oh God,
get a fucking life! It's been 20 years. And we've already got like the best Resident Evil fucking game in 2005, right up until possibly this one.
Oh no! So
yeah, Gabe disagrees with the love for Resident Evil 4.
Oh no!
Oh God,
which was a great game. Like, he can go fuck.
But look, you know what I would have done if I was Capcom, and I would have been smarter than them because I obviously am.
Pikmin. It's like Kojima's trying to make Pikmin. Is what that
Sony was not too thrilled by the reaction to the trailer, so apparently they kind of would like to have a say for the next trailer. But that's the extent of.
But it's not the fact that the trailer was the problem. Besides, it's the fact that there's no.
They took notice apparently, and so next trailer should probably be.
It stopped being fucking funny after what? This is what the third year they've shown this game.
It's the fourth.
Jesus Christ! Like I understand, like Hideo Kojima, I'm weird and I'm an auteur wannabe like guy, but like 3 years of like Norman Reedus crying is I can't with that shit, man.
And he's crying for 3 years, man.
Gus is fucking cracking me up all night today, man. These goddamn takes are awesome.
Dude, like I cannot. Like Sony's pissed me off a lot lately. That's why I was extra biased against their E3 this year. Because there was just I didn't catch any of that.
I said I'm still gonna buy it day one.
Go for it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
go,
I don't
go right
blame
ahead.
anyone for buying that game day one. I'm just saying, like, it's the most obnoxious marketing like I've seen for a game.
It absolutely is.
You know, like.
Speaking of being pissed off though, as Sony, like they spent a lot of time trying to push VR down our throats this year, which is another snooze.
Some of the stuff they were showing on VR looked cool, like the Tetris Effect game.
Yeah, but that would mean I'd also have to buy PSVR.
But no, not for that game. You don't have to.
For any game that's VR. I mean, VR play. Like, yeah, I'll play the regular mode of whatever, but then they showed off Neo 2, and then they showed off a whole lot of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which I'm not showed off some other stuff. And then they came back to it. Then they what are they doing?
I get it.
It comparatively didn't seem to have that much to show off.
No, but there's a lot of momentum for. I get it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Yeah. We're gonna just awkward silence till you swallow.
Take your damn small sips.
Why don't you get the fucking straw, man?
It is. It's a bottle, but it's kind of like it only releases when you kind of open it up when you bite on it. So it's kind of a fat straw.
That's so I have
full hostage.
Yeah.
For 45 minutes.
Yeah. They fucking came on late.
You know what Nintendo's Direct reminded me of? Do you remember that South Park episode where they all like tried to go to, they were like all stuck at this timeshare meeting for a condo?
Yep.
And they wouldn't let them leave. They wouldn't let anybody in the town leave. That's what that
and for what?
Like.
There was Daemon X Machina, whatever.
That
FIFA
game
19.
looks cool.
It does look cool.
The Armored
Core.
Core.
Probably the most like substantial thing they had shown. Because there was that. There was FIFA. They basically came out and was like, hey, get Fortnite on the Switch now.
I think the characters are like Waluigi.
The Sakurai, the guy, the head guy, man. He's getting fucking harassed by Waluigi fans and Daisy fans, I think.
Well, I guess we know who's going to be coming to the DLC first.
Dude, fuck Waluigi, okay? And fuck Daisy.
Yeah, like he's purple and he looks kind of cool, but like, I don't want to hear him go. Meh.
Waluigi exists to literally fill a roster spot.
Yeah.
Because Nintendo couldn't find anyone to fill the roster spot in Mario Tennis is why Waluigi exists.
Dude,
I mean, Bowser's got like 8 kids.
The hand from the GameCube Smash Brothers has more personality than fucking Waluigi.
That's true. Yeah. I actually agree with that.
So then,
why don't they make a hand amiibo of that fucker?
I don't know.
I would have bought it.
Fallout Shelter, which has been out on cell phones and shit forever.
Asshole too, like
Paladins. Killer Queen Black is going to be fucking cool.
Which one is that?
Killer Queen Black. I think it's from the same people who are making same studio that makes no, wait a minute. That's not what I'm thinking at all. It's supposed to be like some badass like 2D platforming like sprite based game, isn't it?
Excuse me.
I was thinking of something different there for a hot minute. I'm trying to refresh my memory. Okay, yeah, it's a sprite based game, but it still looks fun. But yeah, my excitement just dwindled a bit because I was thinking of something different.
In seriousness, though, but like, y'all really couldn't have like one more like a single player experience down the pipeline for this fall. Like you didn't have that Yoshi game ready for this fall.
Isn't there Octopath Traveler?
That's next month.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not far off.
I understand that's a single player experience, but I'm like, with your fall, it's like you still have. I'm sure you still have Wii U ports you could throw. Like you could have thrown on there. Tokyo Mirage Sessions is sitting right there for you to fucking port, or Zelda Wind Waker like HD, man. Like
their lineup for the rest of the year, like not even for the rest of the year, this year and like early next year, like from what they've shown us, like they'll show us more in later directs because it's not Nintendo style to really unveil things too soon. But like the rest of the things that they showed off was Dragon Ball FighterZ's coming this summer, Overcooked 2, Super Mario Party in October. And it's like, yeah, the Yoshi thing got pushed into like
early next year.
Yeah, early next year. Fire Emblem's coming like springtime next year. I mean, and the big Pokemon game that everybody wants to see is coming in 2019, allegedly.
I hope Dragon Quest Buildings it'll come also on PS4, and I'm gonna fucking play the shit out of it.
Maybe that's what I should finally play.
Yeah.
That 1 week in September or 2 weeks is like super packed with that shit too, right? It's like Dragon Quest 11 on PS4, and then like Spider-Man, and then like Tomb Raider.
Yeah, and then like early October you got Forza.
Yeah.
You know, it's that busy time frame again.
Gears 5 is not. Is Gears 5 this year?
No, I don't think so.
Next year, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, if it was this year, they probably would have shown us some actual gameplay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's basically all the stuff. You know, there's our hot takes and everything. We had other stuff that we kind of wanted to get to, but I think I kind of want to delegate that to another separate podcast in the not too distant future. Like in a week.
That never happens. The not too distant future thing never fucking works, man.
Well, it'll happen this time because we still have time before we really have to hammer in on the other projects that we're supposed to be working on. So we could reconvene in a week and see if you're available or not. But Gus and I can certainly talk about other stuff. I wanted to talk about this news that GameStop's been looking for potential buyers for the company. The shit going on between Sony and Fortnite, this whole gaming addiction thing that's being talked about, and then what the next generation of gaming has looked like. But you know what?
Games for 20 hours is a problem, but not me reading a book for like 5 hours.
Yeah, that's
me reading 50 Shades of Grey for like 3 hours.
The BBC was reporting on the whole gaming addiction thing. We'll just get into this part, I guess, right now. The gaming addiction thing, at least. The BBC was reporting on it, and like they were like, "Yeah, I spend like 20 hours a week playing video games." It's like that's like a little under 3 hours a day. And you know what? Like in my lifestyle, 3 hours, 7 days a week is a major commitment. That would basically mean that when my kids go to bed, I spend 3 hours gaming and then going right to bed and doing that every day. But I like to do other things with my life. I like to spend, time with my wife on occasion in the evenings when the kids aren't around. There's movies that I like to watch, shows that I like to watch. And sometimes I just like to fart around online playing games with friends instead of sitting down and playing, games that I'm interested in playing myself in a single player sense. But like, that's not really a lot of time. The problem with, I'll actually field it to you guys. Gus, I'll go to you first. Where does because I do believe gaming addiction is a thing, but where does that line get drawn? Where do you feel that gaming addiction comes into play? Because obviously, based on what you said, you also believe that it's not the amount of time that you spend playing games.
Like I've never, there's always some sort of study about gaming and all of that. And yeah, I mean, I joke about like the length of it, but like, there have been times like, and it's very rare now as a much older person, but like those times where like those gaming sessions stretch to the point where like your health kind of comes into play, where it's like I should probably drink something or eat something and all that shit, like.
Or when Nintendo chimes in and says, "Hey, you've been playing a while. Maybe you should take a break from the game."
The funny thing is that's actually. It's weirdly helpful. Like maybe not to me, but I'm actually sure. Like that's also Nintendo covering their asses too, because they're like so afraid of parents like yelling at them for anything. But I don't know. It's very hard for me to really even get to talk more. Like with some education behind it. Even though like I can't stop thinking about every time I fucking read about like some StarCraft player in Korea that dropped dead because he was playing for like 14 hours. And there's obviously like a limit in which the body should not be motionless. Like you have to like move around and get your fucking blood flowing, man. But I don't know. Like I would like to read more about how the World Health Organization like came to the conclusions they did for sure, but it's hard for me to like add like just specifically like how.
What about you, Gabe?
I think I am. It's not uncommon for me to have long sessions, like even 10, 12 hours. That's because the older I get, the less often I can play. So I either play for 1 hour tops because I don't have time. And then, like, for example, Detroit, I finished it in one sitting. And yeah, it was probably 10 to 12 hours.
God damn.
So, but the thing is, what addiction to everything, on what it takes away from your life. Like, there's no addiction if you do something every day for whatever time you like to do it, if it doesn't take away from your being. I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, you're making perfect. Everybody's lifestyle is different, which is sort of what I was sort of hinting at. But for me, because my lifestyle doesn't allow me to do that. But, you know, there are people who go to their job, work their 8 hours, come home. They don't have anybody they're coming home to. They don't have kids. They don't have a wife or a husband or whatever. And they have 5, 6, maybe 7 hours before they have to hit the sack for them to get enough sleep so that they could, and they'll spend it gaming. It's not impacting their life in a negative way. That's not addiction in my eyes. It's when all of a sudden, like, you have the busy schedule,
when it's
and
getting
you
in
find
the way of it.
Right, you're only allowing yourself 3 hours of sleep a night because I'd rather spend that time gaming instead of sleeping, or, you know, you're not living your life anymore. You're not seeing your friends. You're not seeing family because you're too in the zone for gaming and that sort of thing. Like,
you're leaving your baby to die of thirst and hunger. No, it happened. That if it wasn't gaming, it would have been something else. So I'm not sure
Joe
that
Rogan would say, if it's not one thing, it'd be fucking scratch off and cheeseburgers or something for another person, you know?
I don't know what that means, but
no, he was talking about people being addicted to marijuana, and like people would be like, "Yeah, the fucking drug ruined my brother's life, Joe," and it's like cheeseburgers or some other bullshit.
I think there's definitely
a fucking health hazard here. Like at the one point, you know what I mean? Like, like, you know, I get that completely, because it's.
I mean, to me, it's much like, I don't have kids, so maybe I should just shut the fuck up.
Them with get this, because of the microtransaction nature of all the games that they play.
Yeah, it's one of the big reasons for my personal war since years. And the son of my friend is playing Fortnite. He's 11 years old, and he and his entire class are playing Fortnite, and they're buying the shit out of the skins and whatnot. And I'm trying to explain to him, you know, you don't own that shit. You're just spending money for something you'll never own. That if they
you're just an old man talking at that point, Gabe.
Yeah, but see, he knows what's my job. He comes over with his parents because they come for a pizza or whatever, and he sees the fucking huge collection of games and whatnot. Like, I have a different, like, if his father tells him, yeah, you're old. If Uncle Gabe tells him something, Gabe is the cool uncle, you know, the one that might get you to smoke some weed or whatever. But it is the video game uncle. So he kind of listens to her. Like, he told me that a couple of his friends are spending like $100-$200 every month.
Oof.
And they're 11 years old, dude. Like,
yeah, it's fucked.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Jesus. 15 minutes here before I really want to cut things off.
Which, by the way, is super weird, because I did play Fortnite on the PS4 first, and then I played it on PC, and I had zero problems with my account. So
yeah,
there's no problems between the PC
it's
and
mobile.
PS4.
Mobile or PC, you're fine with Sony, but like the moment, this is the issue too. It's not even just the usual Sony like is being an ass about crossplay.
It's targeted. You say,
huh?
It's that, like, they're targeting the other consoles.
Yeah. And you are, and the game, and that's actually part of Fortnite's appeal too, is that you can take your progress anywhere you go, because Fortnite is like on everything. Yeah. And like, you're fucking blocking my progress because I can't play on fucking Switch or Xbox because Sony's blocking my fucking Fortnite progress. I have to make a new account. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And I really don't care. Like, I swear to God, man, in certain forums that love giving everything from Sony's perspective, I don't give a shit as a consumer that it's good business for Sony to do that. That they don't get hurt by doing this. Like, I don't give a shit.
Sony, interestingly, are really digging themselves a hole. There are people finally.
Their stock took a hit, by the way, but they're not hurting. But
well, here's the thing about that. Okay, this is E3 time. Okay, and when this Fortnite news came out, their fucking shares dropped 2%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's E3 time. What you want your stocks to do are to go up. You want people to be excited for the shit that's coming out. You want excitement to go through the roof. You want your stock prices to go up. You want that excitement shown in the numbers.
You certainly don't want this one to be a story.
Huh?
You certainly don't want, if you're Sony, you certainly don't want this one to be a story coming out.
No, especially at that time. Like, like all of a sudden, all this excitement that's supposed to make your business sort of grow number-wise and appease your investors all of a sudden starts to deflate, goes in the opposite direction because of this shitty story. It's not good. I'm sure investors had something to say about that. But did Sony spin around? Nope. They basically came out with a response that said, hey, we're a great platform and Fortnite's a great place to play that game. Yeah, we hear you.
We hear you, guys. Star Wars Battlefront 2, their first. We hear you. Like, if your fucking PR release says those words, fuck you. Like,
dude, we hear you is the thoughts and prayers of the video game industry.
Yeah,
it's basically that.
Yep, basically. Tone deaf statement. And it seems like they're probably going to win this one because I'm not hearing as much flack being pumped out of the internet. A week later, a week is a fucking eternity in online time. So, but yeah, like it doesn't make any sense to me because Fortnite is free. Like I understand that PSN gets a little bit of a cut probably whenever you buy a battle pass through that platform as opposed to other ones, but like this isn't them saying we're not going to allow you to play with other consoles. This is them like straight up fucking like gating your actual Epic Fortnite account, which like
I don't even know how
ridiculous.
They can do that.
A workaround for this right now, and that's what needs to happen. And the sad thing too is that Epic had to have known about this, right? This wasn't just like, oh, oops. Somebody should have warned people like, hey, just so you know, before you go out and download Fortnite on your fucking Switch or go out and buy larger, like internal memory for your Switch, so fucking kind of funny, making a Twitter post saying, Sony, I don't get what you're doing. I made a new account so that I could play this game on my Switch and my Xbox. And now my throwaway account is my main account. What are you guys doing? Like when Greg, of all people, from Kind of Funny is shitting on Sony for making a bad decision. Something's wrong. Yeah. Because he's a Sony pony all the way. Yeah. Actually, and compared to Nintendo Switch, forget it. Like they don't give a shit.
But the discouraging part is the very small amount of people complaining and being vocal about it.
Yeah, and how many people did complain and have already dropped and have.
And that's just something that it's completely out of view. Well,
what they're doing is great for business.
Yeah, that's
great for them. Like as if good business decisions, like and anti-consumerism, are mutually exclusive when they fucking are not.
Yeah, and Microsoft actually returned the favor from when Sony took a dig at them when they unveiled the Xbox One with that video of like, oh, here, Adam boys, I'm Shuhei Yoshida. Here's how I'm going to share a game with you, and just hands them the copy. Immediately after this shit went down, like Major Nelson was on like, hey, just so you know, in case you want to link your Xbox account to your Fortnite account, here's a link to show you how you can do it. I thought that was... Good for you guys. Good for you guys. And that's the thing. What I was trying to get into before is that Sony is digging themselves a pretty dangerous hole because while they've had an incredible lead this entire generation, 2-to-1 lead, I think the last, analyst numbers that I saw for the Xbox One said they sold something like 38 million units, while, Sony's pretty much at 80 million units. they've also spent this generation very slowly losing goodwill from a lot of their gamers, and especially with this thing, there are a lot of Sony fans who are finally speaking out and saying this is bullshit. Oh, look, hey, arrogant Sony is back. And of course, I'm the guy on, you know, Resetera and Reddit and Twitter saying, guys, they've never left. You know, what listen to the Greatness Delayed podcast and read bitesizeimpressions.com and you'll read all about why. Over the years, we've been trying to tell you this has been ongoing, but like, and the reason why this is also problematic, because yeah, they've got the lead and they've got the exclusives. Those things alone would continue to propel Sony. However, again, let's look back at Microsoft's press conference. They're saying, we hear you. You want games? We're getting you games. We're going to have games. Third-party games are also going to look and perform better on our consoles than any other consoles. Also, we're already looking ahead to next generation, and we're going to continue that commitment, and we're going to acquire more studios. Because of the self-imposed position that Microsoft put themselves in with the reveal of the Xbox One, they spent this whole generation doing what? So far up to this point, not getting games for their platform, right? Third-party shit and console launch exclusives, but not real exclusives other than the normal Halo, Gears of War shit that you expect.
Yeah.
But they've spent the generation instead starting from scratch and learning how to gain goodwill again. And are saying, we get it.
We're the console that also is going to have like a fuck ton of Japanese games.
Yes,
because
I made a mention of that. And also, their backwards compatibility. There were fucking Sony fans when the backwards compatibility thing came out, and they were like, nobody fucking wants to play their old games on their machines. Who cares anyway? Well, apparently a lot of fucking people, because the Xbox and like
the only game on the planet that you can actually like, the only way to play it 4K is with a console. It's mind-blowing.
Right. Because the other thing you want, for as long as you do one console, this is going to be interesting to see play out, because the reports are, as I said earlier, the next Xbox console, I think Microsoft pretty much said they're aiming for 2020 for that to come out. Microsoft put themselves in the underdog position this generation, and it's obviously way too late for them to do anything about it. But man, wouldn't I love to see Microsoft be the top dog the next generation?
Yeah,
I'd love to see Eric generally more.
I'm hoping really interesting. An environment worth digging into.
We're good on GPU stuff, and we're going to continue to focus on that. But he said the one thing that's really been out of whack in gaming is the CPU.
Yeah,
and it looks like this was going to end. They're starting to play, and Sony, they're too busy in the pool room partying and having cocktails to notice what's really happening. I mean, this response to Fortnite and that situation is not how they should have handled this. They should have been like, okay, we're going to work with Epic, and we're going to make sure if you want to maybe deactivate on the account on the
they want to gate you up. I mean,
business.
They're still the only,
and garbage, because if you think back years ago with the PlayStation 3, like the service was down for like what, a month or two or something, because they had to refix everything, and then they had to offer everybody free video games in order to make up for it. And we know from usually the ones with the longest downtime, where Microsoft, it's because Microsoft has different access points all over the place, where Sony's access point for getting into their servers from our end to theirs, it's more of a single pipe, really. So once that gets congested, whatever. And he had said, well, I don't know about that. The speeds that I get when I download games on PS4 is actually even faster, I think, than my Xbox One. Like, speed has nothing to do with it. It's the access point. The speed's fine, but the fact of the matter is that they work infrastructure. Like, if they're not careful, this extreme lack of common sense as far as the goodwill game is concerned, Microsoft's going to win next generation.
I love it though, because of
Xbox One S before that, it was a good machine with a UHD player inside the goddamn thing, where the PS4 Pro, a more powerful machine, comes out and doesn't have the UHD drive and costs more money than the Xbox One S did.
Yeah,
which is like I just got a PS4 just so other people can have more visibility for the show.
5 stars, we'll find you.
And we'll fucking kill you too. That's not a fucking joke.
I didn't say that, but
I mean, you know, God damn it. We busted our ass for 3 hours here. You better fucking say you like this shit. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but that's it. I think we covered a lot of good ground tonight. Probably too much ground, but that's what happens during E3 time. We'll have some other stuff for you next time. Hopefully, Gabe, you can join us again next time.
And if you don't like the show, we hear you. You know, like
we're gonna end on that note because it's been on fire all night, and man, it's just perfect.